Go Team Doramita! I love this story. It is addictive. I could not stop watching it, and the characters are very, very handsome, and the girls are beyond words. Everything is so beautiful. After you watch it, you will add it to your list of favorites, I assure you. So get ready, because the spoilers are coming. The series begins with a student named Meoru, who is sleeping in class, dreaming that the girl he likes, his classmate Jeon Seo, is confessing her love to him. At that moment, when his classmate sees him asleep, he wakes him up to let him know that class has already ended, and after waking up, he begins to look at Jeon Seo without daring to speak to her and confess his feelings. Later, while heading home, Meoru watches as Jeon Seo is forcibly shoved into a car. Determined to find out where they are taking her, he decides to follow the vehicle and see what happens next. Inside the car is Jeon Seo's father, who, like the rest of her family, is actually a vampire dedicated to making wine derived from human blood and refined for consumption by the vampires of the 21st century, who are already integrated into society alongside normal people. While they talk, Jeon Seo, who has a great olfactory ability, tries to convince her father of her desire to live a normal life and finish her studies. However, he forces her to go to his winery, where, after arriving, he begins to check the quality of the wines. Moments later, Meoru arrives at the winery, but when he tries to brake, the wheels of his bicycle slip and he falls to the ground, ending up with a bloody hand. At that moment, Jeon Seo detects the smell of her classmate's blood from inside and quickly goes out to take him away from the place so that her father cannot hurt him. However, while they flee, the quality of Meoru's blood catches Jeon Seo's attention, and she is unable to resist. And after drawing blood from his hand, she bites his neck to extract even more blood. When she realizes what she has done, she gives him some medicine and leaves, embarrassed by what happened. The next day, her father asks her again to go to the winery to work as a sommelier, and later, in class, Meoru begins to watch her, aware that she is a vampire, while he remembers what happened the night before. Even so, given Jeon Seo's incredible beauty, we see how Meoru is still in love with her. At lunchtime, she confesses to Meoru that she wants to talk to him, so she invites him to meet her after classes in the schoolyard. In this way, when the lesson ends, Jeon Seo waits for him with more medicine in her hand and ready to apologize again for what happened. However, because of his insecurity, Meoru does not dare approach her. At that moment, Jeon Seo nervously watches as a young man named Shi Woo arrives at the school. He turns out to be a vampire she had a romantic relationship with 50 years earlier, and he is returned with the sole intention of launching an attack on Meoru. So she goes after him, and after an argument in which he confesses that he wants to get back together with her, she manages to make him leave without hurting her classmate. Later, Jeon Seo goes with her friend Soo Young to the school store, where she confesses how much she likes the clerk, a young man named Hyun Jae. Then, Shi Woo appears and asks Jeon Seo to speak with him alone in a quieter place. When they arrive, he confesses that he is still in love, and that he intends to resume his relationship with her, something she flatly rejects before leaving. In this context, Shi Woo decides to approach Jeon Seo's teacher, who is in charge of the blood donation at school, and after talking with her about blood types, he assures her that the smell of her blood is attractive, which causes her to be a little surprised and uneasy because of his words. Upon hearing the conversation between them, Han Jae appears and urges Shi Woo, whom he turns out to know, to meet with him alone later. Once they are together, Han Jae confesses that he is a werewolf, and after scolding him for his behavior with humans, he hits him and warns him not to show up at the school again, since his intention is to find a unique and unrepeatable blood type that Meoru happens to carry, and he is in danger. Finally, Meoru goes to Jeon Seo, who, aware of the danger he is in, after confessing everything she knows about vampires to him, gives him more medicine in order to erase his memory and keep him away from Shi Woo's target. However, these do not seem to work on Meoru, who does not show the slightest fear after listening to his classmate. Later on, Shi Woo moves into Jeon Seo's house, and after showing her the wound that Hyun Jae caused him, he assures her that there is a werewolf among them. Likewise, he begins to suspect that Jeon Seo has more information about the special blood he is looking for, so he asks her if she has had the chance to smell it, to which, fearful for her classmate, she answers no. Even so, later, Shi Woo, who does not stop in his search, is introduced as a new student at the school, causing, on the one hand, the admiration of the rest of the female students because of his beauty, and on the other hand, Mioru's jealousy, as he watches him sit next to Jeon Seo. When the teacher arrives, he informs the students that they will have to make a blood donation the next day, causing Jeon Seo to feel afraid, because she knows that Shi Woo will discover Mioru's special blood. After class, Soo Young asks Jeon Seo if she knows the new student. Unable to lie to her friend, Jeon Seo insists he is just an old acquaintance. Consequently, Soo Young asks her to introduce them so she can get to know him better. Jeon Seo then promises to talk. She promises that she will talk to him. Oh darn! Back in class, Shi Woo tries to put Jeon Seo in an awkward position, so he takes her drink and lets the rest of the students notice the strange smell coming from her bottle. Meoru, aware that Jeon Seo drinks animal blood, grabs the bottle and after taking a small sip, assures them that it is a normal drink in order to defend her. Wow, if that is not love, then I do not know what is. After class, Meoru stays with Jeon Seo to talk, under the watchful gaze of Shi Woo, who watches their budding bond with jealousy as he observes them from a distance. Afterward, he tries to grab her hand, but Hyun-jae appears to stop him. Shi Woo then confesses that he is the werewolf who attacked him, and Hyun-jae admits it without any hesitation at all. Right after that, Jeon Seo's parents appear again asking for her help as family at an auction, and after returning home, she ends up arguing with Shi Woo and hitting him after he keeps insisting on getting back together. Oh wow, this guy is so annoying. Next day, Jeon Seo prepares a special meal for Meoru in order to disguise the smell of his blood during the donation. And just like that, when Shi Woo comes closer to smell his blood, he does not seem to detect anything special and leaves. However, when classes end, he proposes that Meoru go with him to his house. In this way, when Jeon Seo gets home and sees Myoru's bicycle parked in the garden, she goes inside and hits Shi Woo because of what happened. However, since he had not done anything to Meoru until that moment, he feels regret, heals his wounds, and then decides to leave them alone together. At that moment, Shi Woo takes advantage of her absence to bite Myoru's hand and draw his blood. However, Jeon Seo appears and begs him in order to save her classmate's life, not to tell her father that Meoru is the carrier of a type of blood so prized by vampires, assuring him that he caused the death of his own human mother by taking advantage of the great quality of her blood. After that, Shi Woo assures her that he will keep it secret because of the love he feels for her, and later Meoru proposes to Jeon Seo that she turn him into a vampire so he can be safe. Nevertheless, she explains to him that she is not capable of doing that, because for that, she would have to be 100% vampire and not only on her father's side. Seeing her concern, Meoru tries to cheer her up by singing a song that is her favorite. However, moments later, screams are heard. When both young people rush to the scene to see what happened, they find Hyun-jae standing there right next to a dead body. And he confesses to them that this is the 5th murder in the last few days and claims that a vampire is responsible for all those deaths, since all the victims were carriers of very high-quality blood. Upon hearing his words, Jeon Seo realizes her father might be the culprit. She goes to confront him, but their conversation quickly escalates into a heated argument that leaves everything in total disarray. After all that, Shi Woo runs into Jeon Seo on the street, devastated, so he takes the opportunity to hug her and try to comfort her. However, Meoru watches the scene from a distance, trying unsuccessfully to shout for her to come to him. She fails to hear him, and in the end, she walks away with Shi Woo, leaving Meoru behind as she departs with the other man. As the days go by, the killer keeps doing his thing, which causes fear in both Jeon Seo and Shi Woo. One night, while Meoru is riding his bicycle, he sees a strange man grabbing Soo-young, so he alerts Jeon Seo, fearing that he may be a vampire, and so she goes with Shi Woo to the place indicated by Meoru. However, when they get there, Soo-young assures them that she is fine, but that her attacker has kidnapped Meoru. Oh no, now they are going to turn him into wine. In this way, Jeon Seo tells Hyun-jae what happened, and the three of them decide to go look for Meoru together, who turns out to be kidnapped in Jeon Seo's father's winery, whose intention is to obtain his blood, obviously. And the three head to the winery, and after fighting with her father's men, Jeon Seo manages to get in and rescue Meoru in time. Afterward, she confronts her father and blames him for his selfish attitude, leaving him visibly shaken as he struggles to process the negative image his own daughter now holds of him. Upon leaving with Meoru, the assistant to her father confesses to Jeon Seo that he is also the one to blame for the death of Shi Woo's father. However, despite his thirst for revenge, Shi Woo decides not to carry it out because of the love he feels for Jeon Seo. Next morning, Jeon Seo goes to the hospital to visit Meoru, who is under observation given the large amount of blood he lost the night before. Moments later, Soo-young appears and thanks him for having rescued her, believing that he did it for love. However, he denies it and assures her that he only loves Jeon Seo. After that, Shi Woo and Hyun-jae also appear, and Soo-young confesses her love to him and promises to remain only with him. Back home, Jeon Seo and Shi Woo discuss what happened when her father suddenly enters. He ends up apologizing to her and finally allows her to focus entirely on her studies, letting go of all their previous conflicts. And then he hands Shi Woo the deeds to his wine company, which he founded together with Shi Woo's father before he died, to compensate him in some way for his passing. I don't know, Rick. Days later, Jeon Seo and Shi Woo go to say goodbye to Hyun Jae, who must leave town because of work-related matters that require his immediate attention. Afterwards, Shi Woo confesses to Jeon Seo that he knows she loves Meoru, so he wishes her the very best in her life with him. Later, we see Hyun Jae meeting with the killer, who turns out to be working for him. It seems his true, hidden agenda involves the business of trading refined wines for vampires, revealing the dark motives behind his seemingly professional departure from the city. What a plot twist. Over time, we see how the relationship between Jeon Seo and Meoru intensifies to the point that she decides to completely set aside her vampiric side in order to live as a normal person alongside him, just as she always wanted. It is a truly heartwarming conclusion for these two lovebirds. And that is how this drama ends. Don't forget to leave us your like, subscribe, and don't miss these videos anymore. See you next time.